Hi guys, it's Coach Velia. I was playing with these filters here and I figured I'd just leave it on because why not? I don't know how to turn it off. Thanks for joining me tonight. It is day 8 of the decluttering series. You are almost there. I'm so proud of you for not quitting and for jumping back on the wagon when you start falling off. So that's okay to do all that. However you're feeling and whatever you need to do to get it done, that's the name of the game. We're going to talk about our kitchen today. Big topic, right? Big task to take on, especially if you're taking care of all this on your own. But what came in was very important, that sometimes we have to tackle big projects, and instead of looking at them and becoming a little overwhelmed, think about what kind of things you can set in place in the process of. So we can actually look at this as a very therapeutic practice. Of course, many of us would rather have somebody do it for us, but I think it's important for us to be the ones to go in there and tackle this. One, so you can understand just how far the cluttering has gone, and two, so you can put in the work to make it so it's easier to sustain and you appreciate it a little bit more. And also you will probably learn not to put in so many items into specific locations. So FYI, right? Though there is a win, quite a few wins when it comes to tackling these projects ourselves. If I have somebody come, and it's happened in the past, sometimes you don't really appreciate the work that was put into it, and it's very easy to clutter it up again because you haven't healed up the actual reason for you filling the space up as much as you did. So that's just an FYI. Hopefully that aligns with what you're doing now as far as decluttering. You know what happened, you know how, you were able to declutter it, you went through the emotional processes of decluttering. And honestly, when I take on these projects, it's really good time to spend by myself. I know tomorrow I'm going to touch up the kitchen. So sometimes things get rearranged. Sometimes, you have crumbs that get places for whatever reason. So tomorrow will be my day to kind of take care of that. But I want to share some tips and tricks in the decluttering process. Right now, especially because it's kind of a time where a lot of people have the expectation that you're going to, hang out with family or do things of that nature. We tend to keep bigger items around that we say we're going to use, but eventually may not use. So things like casserole dishes, specific baking things that many people only use like during the holiday seasons, right? So Thanksgiving, we just had Thanksgiving, we just had Halloween. So the question would be, did you use any of those platters, any of those casseroles, any of those dishes or bigger Tupperware bowls or whatever they were during the holidays? Because that's why we hold on to them all year, right? Because we're going to need them for the holidays or for a party. So kind of circle back, kind of go back through your previous year and find out whether or not they were actually in use. Because what I find with many people is they'll store things like that. And then when it comes to a party or a family gathering where you would normally use that, it's kind of like, oh, I feel like taking that out, or I don't really know where it's at, and do I really want to wash it, and all that good stuff. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're taking time to declutter and organize your cabinets and drawers in your kitchen area. Some cabinets will be easier than others. There will be some that will cause you a bit of emotion, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're processing what it is and you're actually opening up the cabinet doors. There are many people that report not knowing what's in their pantry. They have no idea what's in there. They don't know what's expired. It's just kind of a hot mess. So many just avoid opening up that door altogether. So I don't want you to have to avoid cabinets and spaces and things. I want you to look to see what they are, where they are, and what they're actually holding on to. And you get to decide if those things are something you want to continue to hold on to, or if you want to clear the space to bring in something new. Arranging them does make you feel so more refreshed and like ready to just kind of walk into your space and say, yeah, the breakfast items are here, the snacks are here, dinner items or whatever, my can, my package, my box, all these items. It just makes life easier for you. So I'm going to encourage you guys to take on some of these tips and tricks to make sure your life isn't as chaotic as it is. We don't need to add to the already busy schedule. And even though we pretend like it's not really a big deal, when things are not in place and there are items that are being stored that don't need to be stored any longer, it does take up energy in your space, right? We've been talking about that. So let's tackle a couple of things, shall we? We're going to start with the appliance area. If you find yourself needing appliances that are in there, then awesome. Arrange them in basically in order of how you're going to use them and how often. The ones that you don't use more often, obviously we keep towards the back. The ones that we do, we keep towards the front. But I want you to be very realistic. Be honest with yourself. Like, do you need all the appliances you have? Some of you keep your appliances on the counter because they're easier to get to. Are they making you feel overwhelmed on the counter? Is there enough space? Do you find yourself moving things around or piling things on top of each other? So take an inventory of your appliances, smaller appliances, obviously, and ask yourself when it was the last time you used them, and if you actually need to continue to use them. If not, it's kind of just a pain to continue to see them. Hi. So that's a little tip and trick that you can use for your appliance. Like, really be honest with yourself. Is this something I need? The next one we're going to go to is your Tupperware area. So the infamous, Tupperware without lid, or you have a lid that does not have a bottom. So how long have you been holding on to those? Where is the lid? Where is the bottom? And are you really going to find it anywhere? So we're going to hold on to them until you finish the rest of your cabinets, because they might be hiding in other cabinets, right? Let's give you guys the benefit of the doubt and say that you might find it in your actual kitchen area. But I want you guys to also promise me that if you don't find them, you're going to toss them. And here's another tip and trick, or call your family, say, hey, do you have the bottom to this? Start taking pictures of your Tupperware and circulate it to your friends and family. Maybe you guys can all get a circle going and figure out if, you do have them hidden in somebody else's house. If not, it may be time to say goodbye. I'm going to share something that I share with others. Is like, a lot of people have the bottoms and the tops in separate like they're not together. So I tell people, put the lids on every Tupperware you find, and then find a space where you can put them in their hole. Yes, they take up more space, but it's going to come in handy when you start decluttering and you have more space anyway. So now you grab Tupperware and lid together, use, wash, put together, put back. So you develop a system of bringing them together and storing them in that order as well. So that actually helps you a whole lot, especially when it comes to bringing in less chaos in your life. Okay, utensils, super easy. Drawer. A lot of frustration around why you have more spoons and forks and spoons, all that good stuff. Figure out how many you need. Buy the additional set of just the one utensil you need. You can actually buy them by themselves. You can buy forks on their own, spoons on their own. So you'd be surprised how many families argue about why there's more forks or spoons, or where are they. And so instead of, trying to blame somebody else for what happened, as you're organizing them, figure out if they're anywhere else in any other drawer, any cabinet, and then plan accordingly to purchase what you need. Or again, if you have a lot of excess, what I've done in the past in our family, like, we'll take pictures, say, does anybody need any of these? I like my stuff to match. So sometimes I take a picture and ask, does anybody have any of these at their house that we could have left for whatever reason? So ask your family and friends, take those pictures, have fun with it. Okay, knives. Oh my goodness. So many people keep knives that do not work anymore. They're just dull, and you keep saying you're going to sharpen them and you don't. Many of the ones nowadays cannot get sharpened anyway. So be honest with yourself, go through your knives and ask yourself how many you need and how many do you grab, try to cut something, get upset, and then stick it back in the drawer. That's actually very common as well. So look through your knives. Bigger spoons, spatulas, what else? Those little, can't think of those tongs, all that good stuff. Go through there and find out how many you have, and then ask yourself how many you really need. So declutter. You don't need 10 different spoons. You don't need 5 different spatulas, right? I think I kind of cap it at 2, because if one melts in the dishwasher, if one burns, or if you need an outdoor one, let's just do 2, you guys, okay? It's okay if you part. You, by this time, start thinking, what am I going to do with all the extra stuff? Don't worry about it. We're not there yet. You just keep decluttering. Keep what you need and put to the side of what you don't need as you're going through each cabinet drawer. Also, your cup area. If you're okay with having mismatched cups, that's great, but do you need 20 of them? Do you need so many of them? Find yourself space where you could put all your mugs together, all your glass cups together, all your plastic cups together, so they're all in order. So when you have glass mixed up with like mugs, now you're looking like, oh, why do I have to go behind these 5 cups to get to my mug? So Amazon, Walmart, Target, any store has like these cute little shelves that you can put in your cabinet. Either there's ones that hang on the shelf, or you can get one that looks like this, like a little thing like that, and it creates like a second story to a shelf. So you actually can maximize the space. You can put the taller cups in one area, the shorter ones, and you can kind of mix and match it. So take measurements of your cabinets, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. You can maximize your real estate in your cabinets if you get those little gadgets, right? And I'm sure there's stuff you could probably do DIY yourself. You can Google and ask that yourself as well. But maximize again your cabinet space, you guys, not because you need to fill more stuff in, but so you can free up the space a little bit so you're not cramming everything together and it looks overwhelming. Thermoses, water bottles, oh my gosh, right? A lot of people have very overwhelming amounts of. If you're a collector, find yourself a spot to put your collection items in. I know right now it's really big, like Starbucks cups. I had no idea how popular it was to collect like all these different Starbucks cups. And I'm like, that's great. You're not using them, you're kind of just storing them, and that's a whole other conversation. But like thermoses and water bottles, like those whatever with the straws, there's so many. Like, do you really need them on? Are you using them? And if you are, I need you to find a space for them. So we have people that say, oh, but I love them so much, whatever. And then I see how they're stored and I'm like, how do you love that? It's not even stored in a way where it looks like you love it, right? No judgment. I'm just asking the question, like if you really love them or if you like looking at them, make it so it looks like you're proud of them, right? They shouldn't be combined with so many other things. So put your mugs together, put your glasses together, put your plastics together, and find out how many you need. If you want to buy other sets that are mismatched, maybe it's time to upgrade. I'll let you be the judge of that, but be very cautious on what you're keeping and how you're keeping it. Many people have open cabinets and had things land on their head. That's also very true. And if you're okay with that, that's awesome. If you're ready for a change, take it one shelf at a time. Also, what is recommended for many people, so let's see, we've covered basically the bigger items. You know, you have your glass bowls and all that good stuff. So start taking everything out and group it. Put all the Tupperware here, all the spoons here, whatever, and just kind of take one group at a time. You can also get lining paper. That kind of helps and makes it more fun and more decorative with nice colors. And start putting things back that you know you're actually going to use and not just store, right? So yes, I get that there's things that you're not going to use on a daily basis. So put those in a cabinet where you're not going to have to be opening up as much. And if you're actually using them for like Sunday dinners or holidays, that's great. But you don't have to not be honest with yourself. So I used to help people declutter their homes. People would actually hire me to go to their house and help them because, again, there is a system to help them declutter. We just exactly how I do it. One cabinet at a time, one item at a time. And I would find that, okay, I'd take a spoon out. Oh, that one my aunt's a neighbor gave me for one Christmas, and I just feel bad like getting rid of it. And I'm like, okay, so then there's an emotional reason for every single item in the kitchen. And I say, okay, we're going to start with keep, toss, or donate, sell, whatever. And then afterwards, we'll come back and tell the story. But if you grab something and you want to give yourself a story of why you keep it, it's going to take you forever to get it done. So I'm not saying those things aren't important. I'm just saying there's a time and a place of when you should be asking yourself what. So if you take all this thing out and you're carrying like 10 spoons because somebody gave them to you, you're going to have to start asking yourself, okay, do I really need to keep this? And am I okay with somebody's feelings getting hurt if they come over and they ask me for it, which is rare, and I have to tell them I got rid of it? So work through those emotions and those thoughts and ask yourself if you're storing things in your energetic space because other people might get offended, hurt, or otherwise, right? So make yourself a priority. Are you running into things you're not using when you're trying to guard the things that you are? And ask yourself why you continue to hold on to those things, okay? Your pantry should also be organized, you guys. Cans with cans, boxes with boxes, bags with bags. I go as far as breaking down mine in sections. So, and I'll also post pictures of those and what that looks like to help give you maybe some inspiration and give you some ideas on what you can do to make things like a little differently in your house, okay? So I definitely have the bigger, like bulkier items and containers. I buy containers to put those in. And at the top of the pantry, don't know if it's true for you, but there's always a shelf that has a higher space. And I put the bigger items up there, right? Bulk items. I do have glass and plastic jars. I also found some awesome containers that are thin and squared and long on Amazon. with little labels on them to like refill cereals and stuff. They take up a lot less space and keep your cereal fresher. So I do put like cereals in there, like oatmeal, different grains, whatever I have, and they're all pretty much categorized in like breakfast section, like all the breakfast items, lunch or dinner, and then snacks, and then again we have like storage or whatever, and I'll show you what that looks like as well. Looks like as well. And so when you have these cans, they also have little can dispensers, or you can kind of stack them together in like items. So like all your veggies, all your sauces, all that good stuff. So when you start looking at them, instead of feeling overwhelmed and thinking you don't have anything, you'll find that you actually have a lot of things that you can create with the items you already have existing in your pantry. And it's a good time to check for expired products as well. So keep that in mind. Okay, also like a baking area if you're a baker, if you like to make different type of cereals or whatever, like there could be space for everything that you really want to do. But let's start actually doing them and not just say we're going to do them and then just store things and then now we're throwing money away, with expired products that we never got to because they were behind something, and there you are, looking for items behind 10 or 5 different products. So it's all for you to really come down and be a little more organized, but also declutter the process and just work with what you have, you guys. And it's kind of scary. Like some people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much stuff I had, and like spilled flour and spilled grains or whatever. And like, it's okay. Just grab it and ask yourself if you're going to use it. And if you need to get containers to put them in to maximize the space that you have. Because again, real estate is a beautiful thing, right? Square footage, spaces, inches, everything is a beautiful thing. So I think that pretty much covers it all. When you have other stuff like paper plates and napkins and things of that nature, after you've kind of organized what you don't want anymore and you kind of gotten rid of it, and you can tell yourself, okay, these cups would fit in this cabinet. You might even rearrange where they're located because you either don't need that much space for something or you need more space. So as far as, your paper items, those can also go in an area if you use them frequently. Put them in with ones like your cups, put them with your cups. Put, your glass ones or your plastic ones with your other items, right? Like your other plastic paper plates and all that good stuff. Put them with the plates as well. So just grab a few at a time and put them in there. That way everything's pretty much organized. You'll find that you'll want to be in your kitchen more. That does give you that refreshed feeling. And even though you're not much of a kitchen person, when you go in there, you're not getting that overwhelmed feeling. Everything flows nicer. You'll find that you don't need as much stuff as you probably have at this time. Like if you're a family of 4, let's say, why do you have 20 different dishes? It just gives you more work to do. So I find that even though it's just kitchen and dishes, like there's less chaos in families. There's less yelling about washing the dishes. Because if you only have a dish for each person or 2, let's just say a set for each person, right? There's not that many dishes to wash at the end of the day. And then you can't keep dirtying dishes. You're going to have to wash them to use them again. So it kind of keeps the cycle of maintenance a little easier. And again, bringing the awareness of how much we really do need, because sometimes we have an abundance of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. So minimize the amount of things that you have. Be real with yourself about how many things you actually need. If you have 4 or 5 can openers, do you need 4 or 5 can openers? Like, ask yourself those questions, you guys. So the kitchen should be fun. If it becomes overwhelming, take a deep breath, take breaks, come back, tackle one cabinet at a time. You don't have to do it all in one day, okay? So that is my insight for today's topic, decluttering our kitchen. So hopefully that's been helpful. I really trust that a lot of you are taking initiative and really tackling these things that are overwhelming you to welcome in all the new things that are coming to enhance your life and not so much to make you feel overwhelmed. Thanks again for watching. Hope you guys are still enjoying the amazing energies that this moon is creating for us to really become more abundant, structured, and step into our greatness by actions one day at a time. Have an amazing night. We'll see you here tomorrow, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.